you're someone who struggles with binge episodes after they've done very good job throughout the day, or you're someone who binges in secret, or you're having these random episodes and you don't know where they're coming from, this video is for you. Not only this video, but next 7 videos I will be posting is all about how to start on the route of binge recovery. Because when I was starting with my recovery process, I had a lot of resources. I still didn't know where to start, and that was my biggest pain point. Like, I see you, I understand what you're telling me, I still not able to do those things because you're very far ahead of your journey. That's why I decided I want to share beginning stages, what to do, how to start, because I wish I had these videos when I was starting, and hopefully it will be helpful for you too. So, today, we will be talking about why you binge in secret. My biggest pattern was eating in secret, to the point where I stopped going out with my friends for food because I couldn't let my friends see how I was eating, how much I was eating, what I wanted to eat, because I was afraid they would see how I'm losing control around food. But let's discuss it a little bit later to the video. Let's start why you're binging in secret, or what it looks like. Being around people when you are eating, or you're waiting for them to finish eating or go to sleep, and then you have your food. You're eating in secret. What I want you to hear, the most important thing I will say in this video, is that secret binging is not you being dramatic. It's not that you're weak. It's not that you don't have willpower. None of those things. It's all because of shame. And I will explain what I mean. When I used to eat in secret, I always felt shame about it. And shame doesn't happen just after the binge. Shame is often what keeps us binging over and over again. So what happens usually, what used to happen to me, was that I would have very good day. Like, day would go nicely. I'm being very good. I'm eating healthy. I had my workouts. I went out for my run. Like, day went perfectly. Then something happened. I went stressed. I felt overwhelming emotion. Doesn't matter what is the emotion actually. It can be something positive like joy, or something negative like stress and loneliness. But this overwhelming emotion would make me want to eat, and I would end up eating. And then I would lose control around food because I couldn't stop eating even though I knew I wasn't hungry anymore, which would lead me to have a binge episode. And then I would feel disgusted with myself because I've been doing so good. My day was perfect streak, and I ruined it with one food. I couldn't keep my mouth shut, and I kept ruining it over and over again every single evening. And I felt so disgusted with myself, and I felt so ashamed of myself, and so much anger towards myself. That was my mindset, that if I had one unperfect meal, it meant that I lost all the progress and I have to start from zero. And the guilt was so overwhelming that then guilt would make me want to eat. And because I already lost everything, I already lost all the progress, now I would eat again. Because from tomorrow I had a very restrictive diet plan. And because these overwhelming emotions, this much guilt and shame and hatred towards myself and anger, those were all the reasons why I was hiding me eating. Because if someone saw, I thought that they would see exactly what I was seeing. Someone who didn't like themselves, someone who couldn't control themselves around food, someone who was the problem. I thought they would see what I thought about myself, and that's not true. They don't see that person. Most of the time, they don't notice that I am struggling right now with my food, even if I was eating around people. So it was all in my head. I'm not saying that it's all in your head. I'm just sharing that for me, that was definitely a scenario. This secrecy was not about my privacy. This secrecy was me protecting myself. It was for safety reasons. And I'm trying to protect myself from the judgment, which I thought will come from the people. In reality, it was coming from myself. Food is giving you relief. You don't have to think about other people when you're eating. You are just completely raw version of yourself. And you can eat however you want, whatever you want, as many as you want it, even though you logically understand that's not how it's supposed to be happening, but in a moment you don't really care. Like, I would notice I was starting to binge, but in a moment it was such a desired thing that I couldn't care, and because it was doing its job. Like, food was something that would make me feel numb. It was something that would make my brain shut up, and my brain never shuts up. Like, it's always chaotic, and if something gives me this relaxation, this rest, even though it's the mask, it's not truly a relaxation because it comes with tons of guilt and shame, but in the moment it felt like that. And that's why I couldn't stop binging, because I'm creating such a huge restriction from tomorrow that now I'm physically depriving myself with all the food, and at one point I will not be able to deprive myself more. So the cycle itself comes from the restriction which I set for myself. Binge started because of the overwhelming emotion. One of the things to work on when we are working on eating in secrecy is to make sure you feel safe around people, and that is a very separate skill we have to learn. I had to learn it to feel safe around my friends, even though they are my friends. I was already safe, but my brain didn't really feel safe. So normalizing that was the type of work I had to do. Big downside is the secrecy is creating isolation, right? You're attending less events, you're going out less, you're not eating with your family or loved ones, you are by yourself basically. Isolation makes your need for binge more. When I'm isolated, I don't have anyone to comfort me. Food will comfort me. I don't want to have anyone to go and show this anger to. I can show it to food, but in that case, showing anger to food will be eating my emotions up. So I would eat out of anger. Let's talk about resolutions. What works is building a skill of emotional regulation. Every time you get desire to eat in secrecy, just ask yourself, I have this halt, mnemonic, you can call it, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So before I had every meal, because I couldn't differentiate between physical and emotional hunger, which is one of the videos that are coming up actually, I couldn't differentiate them. So I didn't know when I was hungry emotionally or when I was hungry physically. So having this framework, like which out of the four I'm feeling, am I hungry, am I angry, or I'm tired, maybe I'm lonely, maybe there's some completely different emotion. But before food, I would ask myself, every food, every snack, every drink, everything, I would ask myself, what am I feeling right now? And one emotion comes up always. So if I'm feeling stressed, what I would do is, what makes me feel better about it? Do what the answer was. If I was very stressed, one of my go-tos were to scroll, because scroll is distraction, and we need distractions when we are on a recovery route. I'm not gonna say that we don't. We absolutely do, and it absolutely works. You have your own system how you regulate your emotions. I have my own system, and some of the tools will overlap. Not every single one of them will do, but my recommendation will be to build 4 or 5 things you can do when you experience specific emotions, most common ones. My most common emotions were anger, loneliness, stress, and boredom. So for those 4 emotions, I started doing other things except food. Like, if I'm stressed, going out for a walk, going for the boxing classes were actually very helpful for stress and anger. They were working wonders for me, because when I'm stressed or when I'm angry, I cannot stay in one place. I need to move. I need to move my body, and it can be going for a run, going for a workout, doing a little bit of skipping session, whatever it is. But have 2 options for every single emotion. For stress, 2 options. For loneliness, 2 options. And start doing them before you have food. So what it does is that you're building alternative resolutions for your overwhelming emotions, and some of them will work, some of them will not work. And if you will binge when it doesn't work, that's also fine, because you need this release right now. Your brain will start having more options, so food will not be automatic response every time you're stressed anymore. It also helps decreasing the food noise we have, and you will stop feeling the need to hide, because all the power, all the weight it had will decrease with small steps. If this video is something that resonates with you, or you want to have more tools, or you basically want to talk about binge eating recovery, I have a free community on Skool. Link will be in the description. You're very free to join.